Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. And this week, our special guest, Kathy Grebenc. Kathy, you are president of the Curling Club, and I want to talk a little bit about story about the Curling Club that has been around for a while.
It has been around. Well, thanks very much, Bob, for having me.
You're very welcome.
And you're interested in the Curling Club.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been around since 1909. The first building went up in Bathurst in 1909. Same spot as it is, St. Andrew Street.
1909. And in our conversation prior to starting this interview, you mentioned that, people are out in the basin and over by Kent Trailer Park and a few other places that are doing this out in the ice.
Well, according to our historians, Isabel McLagan, Jim Duncan, they say that curling happened in 1883, 84 out on the harbour in front of the Masonic Lodge now. And then in where the theatre, Kent Theatre, was formerly. There was a couple lanes set up there, and then over in Kent's Pond. And then the Curling Club was built in 1909 after a little stretch. And apparently everybody had their own rocks, kind of like bowling, I guess.
Okay.
People had their own bowling balls these days, and people used to bring two rocks for themselves to throw.
Well, that's kind of interesting. But curling is from the old country. Like this is an old sport that was.
Yeah, it was brought in, I guess, in Canada in the 1700s, late 1700s. I think Montreal had the first club in early 1800s, and then Fredericton was the first New Brunswick club.
Okay.
In about 1830s or something.
So this is Scottish, right?
Scottish, yes. Okay. Yeah.
So they brought golf in, they brought the curling in.
They did nothing over in Scotland except for play games.
Well, it looks like that, yeah. So in all of that, like the mill, I remember the mill was very much involved with the curling club.
Yeah. When we had Brunswick smelter, the smelter, and we had the mines, and we had the mill here in town, the curling club was a hopping spot in the 70s, 80s, and even into the early 90s. Yeah.
And I remember those days too. I remember
they were busy spots.
Oh, very busy.
Curling was going on all day long, and a couple of shifts on night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Bondsfields that the place was packed and having a great time. But things have changed, like the big
ebb and flow, and COVID certainly, but things are looking up. We had our first Bondsfield in probably 2 or 3 years, and that was been 5 or 6 years before the first one.
Yeah.
So, but we had 16 teams here visiting, and we had a group from PEI and a group that's now actually Mike Kennedy's, who's in the provincials, and the Miramichi Club this weekend was here practicing and stuff. And so we had 4 or 5 teams from Trackety area and a couple of teams from Beresford. So it was fun. So it's been the first time, and we have 5 sheets of ice. So it's actually one of the bigger clubs in New Brunswick, because most clubs only have 4 sheets of ice. So we're able to handle a good crowd. So it's kind of fun. Well,
good. So, bringing people back, and, we touched on the fact that, the mines and the smelter and that, but they were also pretty big sponsors to
they were
to the club too, right?
Yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot for a lot of organizations in town. But the curling club benefited, golf club benefited, and
everybody did.
Yeah, everybody did, for sure.
So how do you get sponsorship now? How's that work? And are you looking for more?
We are always looking for money. What club is not?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
The Curling Club is a volunteer organization. It has been, I think, from day one, really. And you've had, over the years, different people being very, very interesting. Lately, Ben Tang from Lucky Dragon, big curler, big sponsor. We have Omer Fontang, and we have Jim Walker has been on the board for 12 years. So we've had people who volunteer lots, but it is tough. So get back into our revenue. We have membership. We have social clubhouse. I will say after let's face it, after curling, most people have a drink.
Yep.
Discuss the days. Goes
exactly.
on, and maybe talk about curling, maybe not.
Losers pay for the drink, or winners pay for the drink? I forget how that goes.
Winners pay for the drinks.
There.
So
it's always worthwhile losing.
One year I was 14 consecutive weeks losing. I thought it was a win.
Oh, well, exactly. Yeah, you got to look at it.
Gotta look at it the positive way.
Yeah.
But and then we've had We've had some events at the club. We rent out the facility to different organizations. That's kind of waned in the last couple of years, but we'll be back on that. And we had the curling bonds bill made a few dollars for us. You know, the curling club has hosted for 27 years the Curl for Cancer.
Yes.
27 years.
That's amazing.
It's
I didn't think it was
amazing.
that long.
Claire Wilton, I was just talking with her today. We're hoping to maybe have something at the end of March, depending on COVID rules and so forth. But she's a remarkable drive in that organization,
you're absolutely right.
And the curling club has been hosting that for that many years. So it is kind of nice to be a member of the community. And if you don't want to be involved in the community of the curling club, well, then you can just go and enjoy the game and enjoy the people and
sit there and watch and have a drink.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So raising money again, and so if anybody wants to sponsor or donate or whatever, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, Jim Duncan, not the Scottish Jim Duncan.
No, the other one.
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah.
He goes around and he does get sponsorships from different businesses in town, and they're posted up on the.
I know.
Yeah, you know. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so that's one area of sponsorship. We have, I guess, we're looking at having some kind of fundraising for next year. Because through the last 2 years, our funds have been, all of our savings has been grabbed.
Yeah, COVID didn't help out that.
Didn't help. So we'll be looking to boost our revenue and we want to do stuff around the club to update it and to make sure that it's in good working condition for the next 10, 100 years, whatever.
Exactly.
And, so that's our major look right now. We have a committee that's formed. But if people want to donate, they can certainly come to the club. But most importantly, if you want to start to curl, just call me at the club, or you can you can email any of us, and we can check it out, and we can get a time for them to come down, try out curling, get ready for next year even. But
that'd probably be the best way to do it.
It is a good idea.
Buy a membership.
Yeah. So we live in Canada. We got to do stuff during the winter. It's just, get out and do something, whether it's cross-country ski or downhill ski and whatever, but you got to enjoy the winter.
Yeah.
And curling is a great way to enjoy the winter. So,
and people find winters are long, so this is a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So does the curling club have a website that people can go on?
Yes, they do, and a Facebook page, actually.
Okay.
Facebook is probably the easiest way to contact us, and we will we'll answer you and get you set up, and we're happy to teach new people. We had in November, we taught a lot of people, a couple of nights a week, come down, throw a few stones, gave instructions. So we had a lot of new members saying, oh, curling is a game that anybody can play.
Yes.
And you can learn as you go or not. Just play to whatever level you wish. There's all kinds of, people who just come and curl. Others want to learn a little bit more. Others are fairly competitive, and and those are all they're all avenues there at the club. So it's great.
And there's been some really good competitive players that have come out of Bathurst too over the years.
Have been. There's been a lot of very good curlers that come out of our neck of the woods.
There's something to be said about small towns, and having those capabilities of being able to develop people with the facilities, right? You have the facility, you can develop.
That's right.
And so,
bang on.
you guys are doing great work of being able to do that, trying to bring that back on too. And again, hats off to all the volunteers, because if we wouldn't have volunteers in our area, and one thing about the Chaleur region is that we can put up some good volunteers. There's a lot of people that put up some.
We do very nicely in our volunteer work.
Yeah.
And people are very happy to lend a hand when they know what they can do for the club or any club, doesn't matter whether it's curling or not. But we're very lucky in this area to have great people who, can reach out and help out.
Yeah.
So it's great. Yeah.
In every way. So again, continue on doing great work. I wish you the best with your fundraising, the best of with getting more members out there, and hopefully this little interview will entice some more people
That
to
would be
get
awesome.
involved.
Thank you very much, Bob.
So we'll put a challenge out there to everybody to get involved. Go out there and get some exercise.
Come out and get some exercise.
Yeah.
Enjoy the winters. Exactly.
There we go. The
All
winter's too long.
Never.
There we go. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it. There we are. Another edition of Northern Heat for this week. The place you come to listen to the stories that haven't been discovered yet.